Спикеров сегодня прибыли к нам, чтобы порадовать и поделиться новейшими информациями по IT-индустрии.
Also, we would like to note that our today's event is being streamed online on social media as Facebook and YouTube, and also on the first floor at the Inha University of Tashkent.
Да, действительно, как моя коллега сказала, у нас идет прямая трансляция по Фейсбуку, по YouTube-каналу, и помимо этого еще на первом этаже, так как мы не смогли всех желающих пригласить на этот зал, идет прямая трансляция. Друзья, не будем долго задерживать, но прежде чем пригласить наших гостей для приветственной речи, хотели бы сказать слова благодарности нашим организаторам, а это университет Инха в городе Ташкент.
Digital Generation.
Вот здесь можно еще погромче поаплодировать. GDG Tashkent, Google.
UCL.
Союз молодежи Узбекистана.
Mirzo Ulugбек Innovation Center.
Ну и, наконец, торговая марка Ускарт. А сейчас, друзья, с вашего позволения, мы бы хотели пригласить к нам на сцену первого заместителя госсоветника Республики Узбекистана и председателя Центрального совета Союза молодежи Узбекистана Садулаева Алишер Зафаровича.
Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli yoshlar. Har safar mana shu zinaga chiqib kelishda qanchalik shu zinani yaxshi ko'rishimni ko'proq his qilishni boshlayman, chunki juda ko'plab o'sha IT texnologiyalar sohasida faoliyat yuritadigan yoshlar bilan gaplashish, ular bilan muloqot qilish. Umuman mana shu tadbirlarda ularni qatnashishi va O'zbekistonda shu sohani keng rivojlanishi rostini aytsam juda ham muhim kelajagimiz uchun qo'yilgan qadam deb o'ylayman. To clearly understand what basically I actually said, I'd like to repeat the things that I actually said. Each time I actually come over this floor, I think of my attitude to this place, how much I appreciate being on the stage and how much I like standing on the stage and making sure that young people in Uzbekistan are inspired to be involved in IT technologies. We for sure look at IT technologies as one of the stepping stones in Uzbekistan's development stages. And one of the most important things that makes me happy more than anything else is to see our young people who have keen interest in learning, exploring, and developing their skills in IT technologies. That makes me very happy and proud to see young people who, despite the fact that they're young, are trying to get their voice heard and trying to solve social problems of Uzbekistan in different ways. And that makes me very proud to see young people who organize this event and to feel part of this big event as a co-organizer. I swell with the pride, and I am very happy to congratulate these young people with a very beautiful, very interesting opening ceremony. I hope during the whole event, young people get to know a lot of information and they'll have an access to lots of knowledge, lots of skills that they basically explore during the whole GDG festival. And I am sure that each year, year by year, this event will only grow in popularity and lots of young people will get interested in learning, exploring, developing their skills. I'm sure the young people have a lot of potential to change the world. I sometimes hear people saying that's hard, it's impossible, but if not we, who shall attempt the improbable? Not anyone. And I am sure that young people have this attitude. We say can-do attitude. You can do it, whatever it is. So I am sure that as an ambassador of IT technologies, we'll be doing our best to make sure that this field will be one of the top fields in Uzbekistan. And for sure, I have a great say, confidence to trust, rely on your skills, and believe in your skills. And one more fact is that the top management themselves are interested in making young people have wings and make sure that they change the situation, they change the conditions in Uzbekistan to better with their skills. Once again, I congratulate all the organizers and young people who've actually set their heart on organizing this event and with keen passion in making sure that they inspire other young people to have the skills. Thank you very much, and I hope this will be one of the best events in this year. You rock, guys. Thank you.
Alisher Zafarovga o'z minnatdorchiligimizni bildirib qolamiz va davom etamiz. Marhamat.
Thank you very much. Now we would like to invite to the stage the Vice Rector of Inha University in Tashkent, Tursun Muratov Turdumurat Muhammadkulovich.
Assalomu alaykum, hurmatli bugungi tadbir ishtirokchilari. Bugungi juda ham bir biz uchun foydali, har tomonlama qiziq bo'lgan shu programmistlar festivaliga sizlarni xush kelibsizlar degan holda mana shu bugungi festivalda ochiq deb e'lon qilib, ishlaringizga juda ham bir katta muvaffaqiyatlar tilayman. Good afternoon. It's my pleasure to welcome guests and participants of the largest conference for the developers of GDG DevFest, which has been held for several years in Tashkent at our university. DevFest is a series of events sponsored by Google and hosted by Google developers group communities around the world. The main goal of the conference is to exchange among leading developers and learn about advanced technologies developed by Google. It's gratifying that the venue of such important event, not only on the scale of our country but also in our region, has been stably assigned to our university. In a university in Tashkent has already established itself as a Republican forge of IT personnel. Today, our graduates, even our students, are already employers of large domestic and international companies. In a university in Tashkent completely turned over previously existing standards. As you know, today, for the employer, a diploma is no longer important. Knowledge gained at the university is very important. What is interesting about our university? In addition to the fact that teaching and conducted in English, lectures are given by reputable foreign experts, and there is no strict form at our university. I want to note the fact that we create a lot of opportunities for our students. For example, our students can study absolutely free if they are making great progress in their studies. Every week, the university hosts meetings and guest lectures in absolutely free format with businessmen, officials, and representatives of foreign companies. This is such a kind of coaching for our students. Listening to others' success stories, they are interested by their own victories. In conclusion, I would like to thank all those who made it possible to hold such a large-scale event in our country, in our city, and of course in our university. Special thanks to all speakers who took the time and arrived in Tashkent. I think this is not your last visit to our hospitality city. You are welcome, and I wish all participants induced a productive day, new communities, replenishment, and of contact list in just a great mood. I sincerely hope that the conference will become an effective platform for the exchange of experience and knowledge among representatives of IT companies. Thank you very much.
Спасибо большое за подготовленную речь, друзья. Но мы продолжаем. И сейчас хотели бы пригласить к нам на сцену заместителя генерального директора Открытой экономической зоны Иннополис Вадим Галиев.
Хайырлы күн, хөрмәтле дуслар. Доброе утро, дорогие друзья. К сожалению, это все, что я знаю по-узбекски, но это очень похож на мой на язык, которым говорят у нас в регионе, татарский язык моей матери. И я очень рад, на самом деле, здесь сегодня присутствовать. Если мне принесут кликер, я с удовольствием вам покажу свою презентацию. А пока хотелось бы сказать большое спасибо комьюнити, всей GDG Group, Google Development Group, за организацию этого мероприятия, за сбор молодых людей, будущих профессионалов, существующих профессионалов, разработчиков, потому что за вами будущее. И я бы хотел вам рассказать историю о том будущем, которое строим мы. Ведь я приехал к вам из самого молодого города в России. Этому городу на данный момент всего 4 года. И он еще самый молодой, потому что средний возраст у нас составляет 29 лет. Это город, который построен так, как мечтают IT-специалисты. Если вы приехали 7 лет назад, вы бы увидели чистое поле. В очень красивом месте, слиянии рек Свияга и Волга, в Татарстане, построили город. В 2014 году, как вы можете видеть на картинке, была стройка, а вот в конце лета прошлого года была сделана последняя фотография. Это уже построенный город, это небольшой город, всего 4000 человек на данный момент в нем проживают, но мы активно развиваемся. Как я уже сказал, мы находимся в Татарстане, совсем недалеко от столицы нашего региона, нашей республики, города Казань. Рядом с нами также расположен очень красивый всесезонный город-курорт, который летом является гольф-полем, а зимой горнолыжным курортом. И, как и вы здесь, мы тоже ценим международную экспертизу. Наш город был разработан Лиу Тайкером, и это один из отцов-основателей Сингапура. Это в прошлом главный архитектор Сингапура, который разработал мастер-планы нескольких умных городов, построенных с нуля, в том числе и Иннополиса. Иннополис – это 3 кита. В первую очередь это город, как я уже сказал, самый молодой город в России. Это благоприятная социальная среда, это город как сервис. Второй ключевой кит – это университет. Университет Иннополиса – это первый в России IT-университет. Это подготовка исключительно по IT-специальностям, которая ведется как на уровне бакалавриата, так и магистратуры. И третий компонент – это особая экономическая зона, это мы. Мы – дом для компаний, и мы – среда для бизнеса. Расскажу немного в 2 словах про город. Сейчас это 1572 квартиры, которые сдаются в аренду по принципу «заезжай, живи». То есть там уже есть все, вся мебель, вся техника. Аренда составляет где-то порядка $150. Также, безусловно, для тех, кто у нас уже решил закрепиться и основал свои семьи, завел семью, у нас есть детские сады, в которых уже начиная с 3 лет идет преподавание английскому языку с носителями. Потом это обучение продолжается в школе, идет специализация на информатике, на математике. Также у нас есть физико-математический лицей, в котором мы собираем победителей олимпиад по физике и математике со всей страны. И затем эти дети идут в университет. Для тех, кто хорошо работает, для тех, кто хорошо учится, должны быть все условия для их хорошего, активного отдыха. Поэтому у нас есть, помимо горнолыжного курорта, помимо гольф-курорта, у нас есть также и наш спортивный комплекс, который включает в себя как бассейн, тренажерные залы, рядом футбольное поле, также и различные залы для кроссфита, если это интересно, или, например, теннисный корт. И есть медицинский центр. Но не это главное, а главное, наверное, то, что Иннополис является действительно уникальным местом для проведения самых смелых экспериментов. У нас впервые в Европе было запущено беспилотное такси, и на данный момент оно уже перевезло более 3000 пассажиров. Наш университет – это 770 человек, которые обучаются по таким направлениям, как искусственный интеллект, машинное обучение, компьютерное зрение. Другое направление – это системная архитектура. Благодаря этому у нас есть такие компании, как, например, открытая мобильная платформа. Это разработчик первой российской операционной системы для мобильных устройств, которая сейчас заинтересовалась компанией Huawei. Есть направление информационной безопасности, и еще есть очень сильное направление по робототехнике. Благодаря тому, что у нас есть это направление, мы стали федеральным центром по робототехнике и сейчас разрабатываем дорожную карту по развитию робототехники в Российской Федерации. Здесь, я прошу прощения, неправильные цифры. Это технопарк, здесь мы показываем то, где у нас располагаются компании. На данный момент у нас почти 100 компаний. Цифра здесь должна была быть по количеству вакансий. Дело в том, что ключевая, наверное, сейчас наша проблема, которую мы пытаемся решить, это где нам найти людей для того, чтобы восполнить все вакансии. У нас более 200 вакансий в Иннополисе, и мы активно работаем над тем, чтобы восполнить эту проблему. Потому что эта проблема не только наша, это проблема не только России. Я уверен, эта проблема и есть точно так же и в Узбекистане, потому что IT-специалисты – это на данный момент самые востребованные специалисты. И очень приятно видеть здесь полный зал людей, которые стремятся развиваться в этом направлении. Ну и напоследок хотелось бы сказать, что Иннополис – это не только работа, не только учеба, не только спорт, но это еще и веселье. Если вам нравится российская музыка, то вот здесь небольшой список групп, которые у нас выступали. У нас вообще в городе есть принцип, мы стараемся сделать 365 мероприятий в 365 дней. И мероприятия Google Development Group тоже занимают в них довольно-таки большое место. На этом все. Большое спасибо. Пожалуйста, приходите на наш стенд. Буду рад вам рассказать подробнее про наш город. Спасибо.
Thank you very much. Now, we would like to invite to the stage Jumaidullayev Doniyor Abdunavievich, representative of the Mirza Ulugбек Innovation Center.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые дамы и господа, уважаемые гости, участники конференции. Данное событие на сегодняшний день оно является самым ярким в жизни нашей страны. И не только страны, и является самым важным событием в IT-сфере. В свою очередь, Mirza Ulugбek Innovation Center поддерживает развитие IT-образования, повышение квалификации своих резидентов, сотрудников. В связи с этим сегодняшнее событие может послужить очень большим толчком в развитии и познании новых знаний наших специалистов. В связи с этим я желаю, чтобы сегодняшний день был наиболее продуктивным, и те знания, которые вы получили и будете получать, оно будет служить дальнейшему развитию нашей IT-отрасли. Желаю всем удачи. Спасибо.
Донир Абдунабиевич, огромное спасибо за то, что вы сегодня с нами. Друзья, уже можно начинать нашу презентацию, но прежде чем начать, хотели бы сказать слова благодарности нашим спонсорам и партнерам, которые поддерживают и помогают нам организовать такие фестивали. А именно компания Innopolis, Super Dispatch, PayMe, Best Comp, Avtech.
Also to our partners, Okta, Game Day and Applied Labs.
Действительно, можно поаплодировать. Огромное спасибо всем нашим спонсорам, и партнерам и спикерам за то, что вы поддерживаете нашу молодежь и поддерживаете нас, чтобы мы могли организовывать такого рода фестивали. Ну а сейчас хотели бы пригласить на сцену для презентации лидера GDG Tashkent Нуруддан Иминахунов.
Рахмет.
Он сам скажет.
Welcome everyone. Welcome to Inha University. Welcome to Tashkent for some people, and welcome to our second DevFest. It's an amazing event and amazing beginning. Thanks for all for coming. Today, our DevFest collects more than 700 people in person joined right now, and we're expecting more than 300 people join later during the day, so we can have meaningful conversations and establish meaningful networking connections also, and talk to companies and network with our amazing experts. We are living in amazing times. Our country is more and more open than ever today, and that's why we're so thankful. And our GDG was started as a small Google I/O extended meetup. This is where we started. It was like 2015, and 100-something people. And our goal is and was to create something bigger than ourselves and be part of global community, because Uzbekistan is also part of community. And we want to connect global programs. We want to connect the world to Uzbekistan and want to bring our talents to the world. And now we are here at this scale today. This is DevFest. Let's look at the numbers. We, as GDG, we included more than 1,000 unique attendees in 2019, and more than 60 speakers, and 50 tracks and workshops, and amazing sponsors. It's all thanks, it's all because of you, it's all because of community. And now, DevFest today is second time by us, and it's the second time biggest in Central Asia again. And we are expecting more than 1,000 people, 20 and more speakers, and we have amazing 10 Google developer experts present today. And we have more than 20 tracks and workshops that are available in parallel after afternoon sessions. And then we have great sponsors that we're thankful. And I didn't highlight Google developer experts for some reason, because the map looks like that. Because our goal was, when we started GDG, it was like that. But this is directory of experts, Google developer experts worldwide. So we have 0 Google developer experts in Uzbekistan, 0 in Central Asia. So our goal for the next year would be bringing you, our local speakers, as Google developer experts and show up on the map as we did with the GDG. And Google Developer Experts, it's a program, includes experts and thought leaders of one or more Google technologies. We have Angular experts today, web experts today, Google Cloud. So you might become one of them. Please visit developers.google.com and learn more about the program, and let's talk. We have networking sessions, so you can talk to our GDEs, or you can talk to me, and we can explain the program better, so we can be part of the program together. And also, as I mentioned, networking is a core part. That's where we hear feedback. That's what we get, and I think that's the most important part. So we are including more than 2 sessions of networking today, so we can talk to people, establish connections. Because I heard some stories of founders who met in our GDG events and started a local company. That's how amazing the power of networking is. So please, I encourage you to visit to our sessions, enjoy, but also talk to people around you, because that's like 1,000 people, unique minds, unique talents, developers, professionals, and amazing speakers one more time, okay? So power of networking. And for the first time, we're bringing live Cook Joy Band, and also our DJ Mardon will be present. So we'll have an amazing party here at this area, at this hall, okay? So be with us until the end of the day. It's all free. And who doesn't like plov, right? So we'll have an amazing plow for lunch, and it's all free. And that's all thanks to organizers and sponsors like that. So I would like to thank one more time our main organizers. Without these people, with these people, we spent hours of sleepless nights. It was so difficult times. So it's all GDG Tashkent team, Inha University in Tashkent, and DG Digital Generation team. We also have some co-organizers who helped, who took care of some responsibility for us. For example, Youth Union, Yusel, Muik, and Oscar. We're all thankful for them. And we have partners who supports us in very, very strong way. That's all thanks to our partners. We have this all swags and everything like we expected today. And also, we have some other partners. And our venue was provided by C-Space. That's an amazing place that enabled to us to organize this amazing festival. Our team was there 24/7, I don't know. So I would like to encourage you guys, students and developers, to visit C-Space sometime and also be part of this amazing co-working center. And we noticed some of our agenda, printed agendas that's inside your swag is outdated because, you know, it's very precious event. We had some speakers like who couldn't make to this event. So our agenda is updated and live. It's all on our channels. I think it's the best way to connect on Telegram. That's where we have the link for our agenda. And please also follow our GDG Tashkent channels because DevFest is the biggest, but we have very small and meaningful topic-specific meetups and also other conferences as well, okay? And I would like to thank you, our amazing team, because I know how hard it was, and all volunteers, but our core team members and all speakers. I think let's applaud for everyone. Thank you very much. So see you around in the networking area. I hope everyone will stay till the end and we'll have a great party. See you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Nurdan Imnahonov. And now let us invite Ivan Spresov from EPAM company, Belarus.
Great thing that I'm here. First of all, I want to welcome and thanks for the organizer to invite me there. Before we start, we will speak about a little bit not technical things, but more likely about the organizing the processes. I would like to make quite quick, I hope quick, icebreaker. Let's try to up the hands, just good idea, let's try to do it. Let's evaluate who is us. So let's start from the students. Who are the students there who are learning? So you see how many young talents there. So welcome to this event and thank you for organizers that you are gathering this. The second people who I would like to know, who IT specialists, members of the teams who deliver the excellent software in the world. Thank you so much. I see a lot of such kind of people. The next group of people who I would like to welcome, it is the managers of IT and not IT companies, government companies, or organizations. Could you please show your faces? Could you show your... Thank you so much. There are not a lot of them. Unfortunately, it's a good idea for the next year to try to do it. And the last group, what I would like to ask are people who support the applications, who support the services. Do we have such kind of people there? So yeah, two, welcome again. So what we would try to tell today, we will look into, first of all, the topic which we would speak about, it is end-to-end delivery for multi-vendor, in multi-vendor environment. Unfortunately or fortunately, we are working in the life where there are a lot of different companies provide very good services, and sometimes we need to compete with them, sometimes we need to work together just to try and to build really good and strong relationship for the goals of our clients. So, small words about me. I'm working for a company which has name EPAM Systems. Also, we are organizers there. First Agile Uzbekistan community. As well, we are partners for GDG Group and also share with them the goals and ideas that we need to share the knowledge and help to the local people to grow their skills and trying to improve their knowledge. Moreover, as well, we would provide a lot of schools and sessions together with our colleagues and try to achieve this. Please find us in Facebook and also in Telegram. What we would speak about today, we will start, I would try to cover, because we are limited in time, only 3 topics. One of them, it is the team formulation rules, how we formulate and how we organize the teams within the different companies, especially in this region, how usually it's look like. Then we look to the program and projects scoping model, how we can do delivery, how it would be good idea to organize the stuff. And then at the end, we will look into one of the interesting topics which more likely interested for the big or middle companies or clients. It is multi-vendor approach, how the different suppliers, how the different companies work together for the some of the clients, especially for banking, insurance sector, and etc. So let's start from team formation rules. If you look to this slide, usually the org structure, how the different IT projects is organized, especially in this region, and more likely in such industries like banking, like insurance, like big government projects, they usually organize it by the following way. There are different teams, for example, team A, team B, team N. Then when they have finished some of the stage of delivery, they go into the integration part of this stuff. And in the stage we see that, for example, here we see how this integrated in one of the project A. Then if you look to the second one, the second stream or second parallel stream, for example, I don't know, one stream can work under the front-end side or perspective from user experience side, and another one could be on back-end systems such as, I don't know, insurance, checking the users, checking the fraud, and etc. They integrated as well in the another stage. The biggest waste or biggest time which usually spends and why we have the problem with losing the time, especially in the projects, it usually has name integration and testing. Who from this audience has seen that the projects which was expected to be delivered, I don't know, for 1, 3, 4 months, is prolonged for more than such stage? Could you please up the hands? Yeah. Usually it's happening, thank you so much. Usually it happens by 2 reasons. One reason is that when you are planning at the first stage, the result, what you want to expect at the end, always everybody says that, oh, integration, it's simple. We are really proud and experienced company. We know how to do it. But at the end, I have seen a lot of such kind of projects when it's big bang, so something like that. So, and usually the problem with the integration and deployment, why it takes so a lot of time, related not even with technical skills, unfortunately, yeah, because technical it's easy to fix usually, but with organizational structure. Could you please look to this picture and up the hands who see similarity in the organizing the work within, especially I would like to mention Mark government organization, because I have seen a lot of government organizations who are organized the same way. So we have PMO, project management office, yeah, we have testers or separate department which usually organize and trying to organize user acceptance testing and etc. And we usually have departments or different units who doing the different job. This problem with this model related with the communication and interaction between each other. Why the problem is? Because when you are trying to transport the result of the flow or the work what you have delivered from, I don't know, UI and app unit to integration unit or to testers, they found some of the defects. Usually it happens because anyway, IT, it's not medicine. We have chance to make the errors and it's not problem. And then it's usually back to the group, to the unit. And sometimes the people who worked on these projects 2-3 months ago, they forgot most anything about this stuff. They started to reinvent this time to understand what is happening and back to this problem. So this organization is one of the reasons why usually we spend a lot of time for integration. Especially, I would like to mention three last pillars. It's integration and testers. It's a big chain and a big problem for the biggest companies, how to make it more cohesive and how to make it more reliable to work. So the suggestion, what currently the basic on the market, especially one of the name, it was introduced in such company like Spotify, who had about this model. Maybe you remember this. Just up is a music provider who provides a lot of interesting songs. They provide the model of cross-domain programs. So if you look to the program X and program Y, you see that there are all needed experts in this group who are allocated for any of work. The problem is there are a lot of terms on the market, something like cross-functional teams, cross-functional programs, and usually it's mistaken say that we need to build T-shaped people. Honestly, university or opportunity to do everything is quite difficult work and quite challengeable work. So the specialization in our area is important step. So that is why in such case we gather in one program, in one stage, most of all people needed for the staff. If you look to this slide again, we see business unit head who is managing, who is leader, who supports with driving the direction of these programs. But most important there is that horizontal lines, which has named guilds, it is the community of experts between the stages. The problem, what usually feedback to the previous slide, between this slide, with this structure and next structure, that in this structure there is a really serious gap between when the testers, for example, when integrator specialists started to engage into the scope. This opportunity, this structure supports the way of sharing knowledge. For example, if you look to chief product owner line or just product owner community or I don't know, chief technical community, architect community, there are different models or different components of the system which usually people do. And thanks to that, the people or people can share the knowledge and through the regular things and using the popular and quite modern DevOps practices, they can interact it seamlessly and support these activities. It is a static picture. Now let's look to the little bit more dynamic. I hope who heard about Project Management Institute? I know that there are a lot of PMP here. Could you please up the hands who? So it's one of the most famous and used organization in the world, and honestly I'm fan of them as well, so I'm using the same practices. Usually product process divided in all of the areas, not only in IT but in manufacturing, for two basic types. It is the delivery and discovery. Discovery is usually business stage. In terms of processes, it has name like upstream. Who has this term? Could you please up the hand? Especially, I would ask young generation because not only development but understanding the process, it's guarantees that you would understand how this business is working. So, and another one is delivery. So usually problem in government and big enterprise or corporations that business and IT, they have the war. They have blooded games. Why? Because the business thinks that IT should do, IT thinks that the business should provide, and they always negotiate about that, and there are a lot of problems. The biggest challenge for most of all consultants, so people who try to support delivery of the projects, it's the solution ready for development. What is that? It is the agreement, clear contract between the business and development that we can do and what we expect. The word expect or what expected delivery is the main things is there. How to achieve this? First of all, according to PMI, to Project Management Institute, there is three main stages in this way. One of them has named ideation stage, when the business launching the new startup or launching new product or launching new ideas, they try to find the way, they trying to ideate the solution, look into what is existing on the market, what the compete exist on that, who provides different services and etc. And then the next stage, it is the stage of prototyping. So it means that people trying to emulate this idea, trying to test it, and trying to get it. Before we moving into the delivery stage, which is very popular currently, Scrum, it is honestly, it's one of the elements of this process. So all others, if we not build the previous one stages, I mean ideation stage, or stage of preparation of the requirements, or stage of variety of risks for the delivery part, it's not impossible to build quite good Scrum processes, because when we do in delivery stage, we need to understand what the requirements we have, how to work with them, what the questions are not clear for us, what technical dependency exists, and so on. This should be analyzed and should be done mostly in the second stage, which has name prototyping. So, and the last one is a basic, I don't know, iterative approach. It could be combined with different approach like methods or tools like Kanban method. It can be combined with approaches like XP practices, DSTM, and many, many, many others. So, but anyway, if we look to the stage, if we look to this opportunity, we can say that the two of the first, I mean, design thinking or ideation plus prototyping, it has name like upstream. And one of the best metrics for upstream, how many ideas we broke on this stage, we cancel. Because the biggest problem, if we have spent a lot of time for analyzing the ideas, and this idea goes to delivery, and suddenly we understand that in delivery we lost a huge amount of money. We asked developers to write the code, we asked developers to implement, testers to test it, and suddenly go to the live or go to the production and see that this feature not required to the client, it's a big loss. So that is why idea of all of these models, of agile or flexible models, just to try to think about the ideas up front, try to evaluate it as early as possible to get as early as possible feedback, and then go to the delivery. And multi-vendor approach, this is this model, how it's going in most of all biggest companies in this region. Do you see similarity to your context, especially colleagues from business? I would like to ask you. So especially government services, have you seen the same picture in your life? Could you please up the hands who saw it? So nobody's, oh, I see, yeah. The problem with this model is that when, for example, big company, big program, or big, I don't know, social program, at least, for example, Agile Uzbekistan, or just the idea of GDG group trying to ask support the different colleagues to do the stuff, and ask several vendors, they usually, the reporting chain is usually the similar and like they worked before. So it means that if, for example, the managers from one vendor to another vendor, the people reports to them. And for the client, for the person, or for the company, or the organizer of this group, it's a big chain, a big deal, and big risk, because they expect that we know the direction, we set the goals we're trying to achieve, but usually this is a problem because part of the vendors trying to cover their problem, another part of the vendors don't understand what the client wants, and it is the direction of three roads. So that is why the idea, what we suggested, and what we have seen in our practice, to introduce two main things. One thing, for delivery and product should be responsible product owner or product managers and scrum master, or project managers, I don't know. They should report directly to the client, to the people who are responsible for the site. All communication regarding the development and regarding to the product should go through these people. Biggest problem when in parallel branches go in, when the information spread it in different ways and you can't to get the correct idea from what channel you got this information. The second thing, what is suggestion, because we have covered, for example, delivery, and we covered business side. What we will do with technical. For example, usually in the companies there are a lot of experts, senior specialists like Java, .NET, front-end, Android, Node.js, and many, many others. When we are trying to build or staff the program, anyway, on any of organization, we're trying to find in our internal resources, we're trying to find in partners, vendors, and etc. We see this all the picture, it has name like resource plan. The problem with this plan that we have covered, we have split all these people to the teams. We started to adapt these teams, to engage them, to form them, storming and norming and etc. But the technical side is not covered. How to do it the better, what we need to do, and etc. For such kind of things, we suggest to introduce the special roles like technical leaders. These leaders could be from the client side, or these leaders could be from primary vendor of primary contact, and through these leaders, you can communicate the all technical challenges which you are having. So that is why there are two things for the to-be model. First one, alignment from the business to the appropriate people who are responsible for the delivery and for the product. There are two people, such kind. It's project manager in traditional approach and product manager who are responsible for the product authority. And second one, it is technical leaders who would be the staff. So before we will go to the questions, I would ask you to open the program. Could you please, you have all the presents, and in program you have the agenda for this all the day. Could you please have them, if it's not difficult? Colleagues, do you understand me? Just I'm trying to tell. Yeah, there is a white box in the middle of this page. This white box, it would be workshop about the team delegation and how to build it. It would be in audience room number 209 in 1 p.m. So thank you so much, GDG Group, for inviting us. We're really helpful and interesting to build communities with you. And really, I'm ready to answer to your questions. Please go ahead. Do we have people who wants to ask the questions? Early morning, yeah? Please have the hands who wants to ask the questions. Yeah. I see the person. You see, could you please help me to give the microphone to the guys? Okay, great. Thank you so much then.
Большое спасибо, скажем, Иван Спресов, компания EPAM, Республика Беларусь. Друзья, можно поаплодировать. Ну а мы продолжаем. Для следующей презентации приглашается Таня Бутенко, генеральный директор в Mrs. Code GS, Сидней, Австралия.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for introduction. And before I start, I would like to say big thank you for welcoming me on this stage. It is my first time in Uzbekistan, and I'm super excited to explore this amazing country within the next week. So if you have any tips, come and tell me, please. Cool. So as I was introduced, my name is Tanya Butenko. I'm CEO of Muses Code GS. It's a non-for-profit organization that runs all around Australia and outside of it. But I'm also a software engineer in the company named Higher Up. We help to people with disabilities in Australia. Outside of that, I'm also an international speaker, and for the last 2 years, I'm traveling around the world and speaking on the big stages. But still, I'm not a professional speaker, so. I'm also a Google developer expert in web technologies. And you know what, interesting, today I will be talking about communities on the stage in Tashkent. But if you came to me around 5.5 years ago and tell me what I will be doing today, honestly, I would be laughing and smiling and say, like, no way. Why? I have a bachelor degree in linguistics. I've been working as a teacher, I've been working as an interpreter, then I've been working in a business as a manager and business coordinator, and I never thought in my life that I will be doing anything around the tech, or that I will be a software engineer, or that I will be on like a public speaker or something like that. It was always terrifying. But what changed? Around 5.5 years ago, we moved to Australia with my husband around 8 years ago. And around 5.5 years ago, one evening, I came to my husband and said, you know what? You were telling me something about this coding things, about, all this like nerdy stuff. And I never was interested in that. But I was so bored because like moving to a new country, it has like a lot of different things. It brings a lot of different things with it. And of course, it is hard to find new friends, to establish strong relations. And like my work where I've been working as a manager was not really welcoming as well. So I was kind of a bit bored and was looking for some kind of challenge. So he gave me a video game, I think the name was Lightbot, where I had to move a block around the screen with JavaScript code. Wow, that was fun. In a few hours I came back to him and said, hey, oh my God, that's so cool, I like it. It's just a video game, I love it so much. I want more. He was like, oh, it's many levels up there, so like go and continue. I was like, yeah, I'm done. I want more. And since then, I see a code as a video game. You have, like any video game, you have a goal, you have tools to complete your levels, and you do have some kind of reward in the end. Either it's like a feeling of like accomplishment, or is it like you finally solve the problem and you feel that you're like smart, or maybe a green tick box when you test the passing, right? So I started my journey in tech at that time, and I started going and doing different things online, whatever I could reach. And it was a lot of fun, but I still never thought about becoming a developer. I was still working as a manager in the catering company, and I was doing coding in my free time. So what changed? With the time, my husband introduced me to communities. He took me to one of my first tech event in Sydney. It was a Node meetup, and that was really interesting. I came to event, it was around 100 people, and it was all guys. I was the only woman there, and they all thought that I was either a recruiter or a designer. Was it fun? Yeah, it was. But as soon as I said that I'm interested in coding and that I'm doing coding in my free time, people changed, and they were super supportive, and they started giving me different advices, giving me links to different resources, the ones that I didn't know before. And that's how I started coding more, and I started going to other different events as well, technical ones, and it was a lot of fun. So having this kind of support, and when people were seeing what I'm doing, and they were saying, so when do you change your career? I was like, well, I'm not ready. But the community was super supportive, and everyone was telling me, come on, you don't need to have a tech degree. You don't need to go to university to study programming to be a developer. I was like, really? How does it work? So today we'll talk about communities, tech communities, and how they change people's life. And of course, I will talk about what communities are, why do we need them, and how to be involved, and how to start community, how to support them. And one of the main kind of things that I went and did first when I was preparing this talk, last year, I just went and Googled to Wikipedia what community is. And well, community is a condition of sharing or having certain attitudes and interests in common. And indeed, you do not need to be in the same place to be a part of community. For example, a JavaScript community, or whatever language tech community is there, it's kind of a global community, right? But of course, you do have it locally as well. And as I said, I've been going to different kind of meetups, I was exposed to different communities, different languages, and as a beginner, I was super keen to learn whatever is out there. I've been experimenting with C, with C++, with Java, with Python, with Scala, with Clojure, with Python, with JavaScript, and you just name it. I was just going everywhere where I could at that time. And it was quite interesting, but the JavaScript community appeared to be one of the most welcoming community for junior developers, for people who just starting. But still, coming on many different events like CGS and Node meetups in Sydney, it was still a little bit hard for me because I not always could understand what people are talking about when they're on a stage. So then with the time I find out about organizations such as Women Who Code and Rails Girls. And the difference was not only that those communities are for women, but the difference was that those events that they were holding were really practical. And that's what really attracted me there. Why? Because I could come there, start coding with something new. I had mentors who could come and help me up. And at the same time, I could still go home, take this code with me, and continue my education. So when I was not feeling really comfortable to ask the questions, I could always Google and continue this kind of things. And of course, it was way more understandable for me that time rather than just going on meetups and listening for the talks. So of course, with the time, I became more involved into communities when I became a developer. I joined Women Who Code as co-organizer, and I also joined Node School as co-organizer, and I was holding a first NASA hackathon in Australia as well. And it was a lot of fun, but it was still not there. It was still not exactly what I wanted. Being a part of such a big community, I saw that in Australia at that time and still, it was a really massive demand for women developers. Because like nowadays everyone talks about diversity, right? Well, and of course everyone was looking for women senior JavaScript developers. Everyone is looking for them. But it was not that many of them in Australia at that time, and still it's not that many. But interesting moment was that on the Women Who Code events, the biggest demand that we had, it was for JavaScript events and workshops. And as organizations that hold different type of events and workshops, we could not afford just to hold JavaScript workshops all the time. So I started thinking, okay, I will go and Google and maybe find some other big organization out there, most likely in USA, because they have quite a lot of different communities and organizations, who is doing different type of JavaScript workshops for women, or just to support diversity. And you know what? 4 years ago, it was not a single JavaScript community for women in the world. Is it surprising? Yes, it is. So I decided, well, if it's nothing there, I will just start it. That's how Muses Code.js were born, around 3.5 years ago. But of course, when you just begin something, if someone were ever organizing anything, you might know that it's really hard to start something with a new name, to find the sponsors, to attract people, and to show who you are. Being a part of the Women Who Code and Node School, I decided just to make a combined event. At that time, 3.5 years ago, on 9th of July, we held a first workshop in conjunction with Women Who Code and Node School. And that time, we made an announcement about the Node Girls. But the interesting moment was about that event that in Sydney, we have such a tendency when you are holding a free workshop, free event, you have around 50-50 of show up. So some people are not coming. And knowing that, having an experience in organizing different events, we decided, okay, so we have extra spaces, of course, so we will get the numbers that we expect. But surprise, surprise, on the day we had 124 women came to the workshop. That was a really big shock. We was not prepared. It was extra ordering the food and getting more mentors, so it was really big fun. And since then, we're holding events, and we are always having more than 100 women coming up in Sydney for every single event. We do have a lot of people who are coming first time, but we also have some, a number of people who keep coming over and over again, because we are trying to hold different type of workshops, and for different levels of programming skills as well. So, who we are right now? We did change our name. If you can see, the Node Girls name came really easily to us, just by analogy with Rails Girls, Django Girls, and so on. But with the time, of course, it was a bit of confusion around that, because in Australia, we were positioning ourselves as an organization that supports junior developers. So, of course, it was a lot of people who were never coding, and they were writing to us and asking, so what age of the girls you're welcoming? We actually for women, but, well, it's okay. So we changed our name to Muses Code.js to be more inclusive as well, because the events that we are holding not exclusively for women. We are an organization that hold events for women, non-binary, trans, and all other gender minorities in the tech space. But at the same time, we always welcome and open for guys, like straight guys. We hold events for everyone. We talk about inclusivity and diversity, right? So how can we exclude someone from our events? So that's why we were looking to options how we can rename ourselves to be more inclusive. That's how we came up with this name. Now we operate in 5 states across Australia. So you know we have 7 states in total. We hold more than 50 events per year. We have more than 6,000 followers, more than 500 mentors who are coming up and spending their weekend with us to mentor for free. We have 3 internship positions. That is really interesting moment, because you probably heard it's a lot of different organizations and companies who hold graduate programs, internship positions. But what we are trying to do, we are trying to talk with the companies and get positions for people who doesn't have any technical background, who doesn't have a degree, who did not go and finish any kind of boot camp or anything like that. Why? Because if you think about like population in general, and especially in Australia, we do have a lot of single moms. If you're a single mom, I don't think that you can just like drop everything and spend 3 or 6 months in a fast-paced coding bootcamp, plus spend around $20,000 during that period, plus of course all the living expenses and so on and so on, and then just think that, well, I will find my job hopefully right when I finish. So of course it is super hard, and that is why we are like trying to do this kind of internship positions for people who cannot afford to get education in the space. And just to mention that all the things that we are doing and all the things that we achieved for today were made by people. I do have like different teams in different cities, and everything is fully volunteer. So no one is getting paid for any of this work. And just a few words about the future. We do have like really big plans for the future, and probably most likely a bit later in time I will have to quit my software engineering role to take care of the organization, but hopefully it will be a bit later. So we do think about the rural areas and hold events in different rural areas. Like you probably saw Australia on the map, and you know that the population of Australia is mainly located on the eastern part of the continent. So it's like where the most main kind of cities are. But if you look in the center, it's not populated. The majority of the country is not populated. And it's a lot of rural areas. And any kind of organizations that we have in the country, they do not want to go to like those rural areas. Why? Because it's not that many people there. It is like problems with logistics and so on and so on. So we do plan to extend there. We're also thinking of the programs for convicts. For women who are in the prison, they do get different type of education there, but interesting, not a technical one, and they do not have this kind of an option. So we're thinking about that. We're also planning to extend worldwide. We also have innovative approach, because if you do something for a people who is not exposed to the tech, how do you attract them? You cannot just go like to the channels where you communicate with developers or people who are in the tech already and say like, hey, we're holding this event for beginners, and like tell to your friends. What about people who does not have friends who working in tech? What about people who does not know anything about the tech world? How you can reach them? So that's why it's always an interesting moment of finding and implementing a new, different, innovative approach of advertising and like reaching up to those people. And we're also thinking about the educational platform. Okay, so I guess let's move to some more interesting part. Why do we even need those kind of communities, and what we get from them? Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has, said one of the famous American anthropologists, Margaret Mead. And it is so true. If you just stop for a second and think about it, whatever kind of things were happening in the history, even is like revolution or innovation, it was always moved by like starting from one person, from a movement, from some leader, thought leader, and so on. So when you think that, especially nowadays when we talk about diversity so much and inclusivity, we're saying, yeah, it is bad, there is like a problem there, but what can I do? Trust me, everyone can do something about that. And when you start this kind of movements, when you start different type of organizations like that, you do give a really great example to people, and you also you start inspiring them as well to go and do something. And when you see the difference, when you see the life of like those people whose life was changed, it's really inspiring, and it really moves us all, and we do our like work for free. So communities do help us to self-grow and help to change our lives. And I just wanted to show you some people from Australia whose life were changed. We have a Karen from Melbourne. She used to be a accountant. Now she's a software engineer. We have Anvesha from Brisbane. She moved to Melbourne recently. But she was a junior developer when she decided to be involved into communities. Now she's a senior developer. She also was granted award as a tech community lead in the Queensland state of Australia for joining Muses and like starting all this kind of community movements in Brisbane. Jen from Sydney and Alex from Sydney. I used to work with them when I was a manager in catering. They were waitresses, now they're software engineers. We have Emily from Sydney. She was one of our interns, and she used to be a teacher. Now she's a software engineer. We have Leah from Sydney. She is also a part of our organization now, and she used to be a recruiter, and we took her on a dark side, and she became a developer. We have Shaila, a mother of 3. I don't remember what she was doing before that, but she became a developer as well, and she is also a part of our core team in Sydney. And we have a Jaden and Priya. They are our first and second interns from Sydney who finished the internship program first. Now they're software engineers. Jaden used to be a pharmacist, and Priya used to be a teacher. Now they're software engineers. Communities help us to get some confidence. And as I was mentioning about myself, I'm traveling around the world and speaking about different things, technical and non-technical. And there's this confidence to go up and speak gave me the communities. Because when I started and I became a lead of such a big organization across the country, I had to stand and speak in front of those people all the time, over and over again. And was it hard? Yeah, it was. It is hard still, like every time you go on a stage, every time is scary. Of course, it's getting better and better, easier and easier, but honestly, it just takes time and years. So with our organization and with all other different organizations and communities out there, you also can get this confidence because all these organizations and communities always looking for speakers, right? And we're always looking for people who will facilitate the workshop. And facilitating the workshop is a public speaking as well. It's gaining the confidence to stand in front of the people and teach them something. And it is great. Do not underestimate how important the confidence is. Community is also an opportunity to share your knowledge. So people sometimes ask me, so okay, I will come and mentor, but why, what do I gain from it? I'm a senior developer, I'm just working, I'm getting a lot of money, and what's the point of coming up over and over again and mentor people? Well, the thing is that when you're mentoring, you're learning a lot as well, even when you're a senior engineer. How many of you here right now is a senior engineers? Can you raise your hand? Not that many. Have you been mentoring? Ever? Yeah? So, do you know, I will tell you a funny story with my partner. When I was learning programming, and he's like a great senior engineer, programming is something that he's been doing all his life. And every single time when I was coming up with a question to him, it was a quarrel. I thought we will divorce just because I'm learning to code. Why? Every single time I was asking him a question and looking for a simple answer, he was going to all details and going deeper and deeper and deeper. And most of the time, I could not even understand what he was telling me. And he was making me even more confused rather than I was at the beginning. I was even forgetting what I was actually looking for and what I was asking. That's how bad it was. And still, on events, when I hold different type of events and he's coming and mentoring, I always say, this room is for complete beginners. Do not even walk in there. One time he came out and said, hey, this lady just told me, she just asked me, what is a function? I was like, what did you say? Well, function is a function. I think it's a great explanation. So being a senior developer and coming up and mentoring on events like that does help you to go back to reflect and to understand that not everyone knows all the basics. And it's not like 1 + 1 for you, it's not the same like for others. So you do need to find the way how to explain it. But at the same time, if you think about it, if you cannot explain the basics, in the way that someone else will understand, do you really understand how it works? On these pictures behind me, you can see a bunch of our mentors from different events. Of course, we have way more of them, and maybe I should make just a smaller pictures, and put all of them up there. But that's how people are getting up there and mentoring and helping up on the events. Community also helps you to network and socialize. And it is quite important. Why? Because sometimes people can be quite isolated. and not only in the tech world, but in general. Especially in Australia. Australia is a really big country and it is a multinational country. It's a majority of the population is people from different countries and immigrants like me. And as I said, when I just moved to the country, I did not know anyone, and it of course takes a time to find the people, to find where you belong to find new friends, to establish connections. So communities are helping you to do that, because it is a place where like people share some of the same ideas, knowledge, or like the way of thinking, or interests. And this is like behind me, you also can see some pictures from some of our events. People coming up there, and when they communicate, it's really great to see when they're saying like, oh, I have a similar situation like you do. Or like, tell me how you've been like dealing with that. And people have a lot of things to talk about. It's also a great opportunity to network and to meet people from the industry. For example, when you're coming up as an attendee, you also can meet mentors from different companies and to talk with them about different things. Even, for example, if you're looking for a job, different kind of events are really great opportunity to do that, to learn more about the opportunities on the market, to be seen, and to meet new great people and some friendships for life. Okay, so are you all excited about communities? Yes? Great. Thank you. Okay, so how to be involved in the communities and how to give back to communities. There is different ways how you can do that. And one of them is to participate and to help with communities, workshops, or whatever kind of events. And the first thing that I did when I was beginning, I just like reached out to the local communities that were there, the ones that I really enjoyed to work with, or to be at. And I just asked, hey, are you looking for a co-organizer? Hey, are you looking for a speaker? Hey, are you looking for anyone who can help you up with anything, whatever kind of support you need? And you will be surprised, but every single organization that runs whatever kind of event they're running, even if they run like a monthly meetup with 2 speakers, they always need some help. And that's how that's how I got involved into this kind of things. But at the same time, if you look around and nothing is happening like of your personal interest in the tech space, in your country or in your city, don't be afraid to reach to international organizations as well and start a chapter like locally. Or if it's nothing out there, start a new one. I know it sounds scary to start something new, but the thing is that as soon as you ask people for help, you will be surprised how many people are willing to help. Mentorship and coaching. Do go to different events and do mentor there. The thing is that you also can mentor and coach people at your own office, at your own work as well. And it does help to grow the community and shape it. Internship programs. If you do not have anything in your company, you can talk with your lead or your CTO about this kind of opportunities. And you will be surprised how enthusiastic people are when you are taking a grads or interns on different positions. Online channels. So you will say, okay, I'm not really a social person, I don't really like to talk to people, so I don't really want to be a mentor, I don't want to be involved in the organization. You do have an option as well. It's online channels. It is a lot of them. And for example, let's take Stack Overflow. There is a questions and answers, right? What it has to do with the community. It is still a technical community where you ask the question from the community and you get some answers back, right? And I bet like most of you who've been like looking for answers and saw sometimes things like if someone asking a simple question and someone is coming and rudely answering, oh, hey, this question was asked like hundreds of times, or just go and read documentation while you're wasting our time. Well, you even spend the time to answer on that, why you could not even just give a link for this kind of things. So go in there and answering to junior developers, to people who just starting. It does shows how welcoming community is. And the last but not least, how to make these communities more diverse and more inclusive. One of the important things is impression. The first impression of your organization, of your event, and so on. For example, name. Like as I was saying, the reason why we changed our name to be more inclusive and diverse. The language that you use as well. Quite often we do not think about it, but if you go and read, for example, job descriptions quite often for developers, they say we're looking for a rock star developer, we're looking for a ninja developer. Do you know that ninjas could be only men, but like no women were accepted to be a ninja? So just think about the language that you are using for advertising for your events. And of course, advertisement. And the advertisements leads me to personalities. The people who advertise your event, it's super important. One really interesting moment that we noticed with the organization, when I was talking about my event in different places, we start having more Russian-speaking community coming out on our workshops. When one of my co-organizer, Indian girl, went to the community and started making advertisement about the event, we got more Indian women coming to our events. And it was keep going with other nationalities. So now we're like really super multicultural events. So it is important to see the people who are coming up to different events and advertise the event. A safe environment is very important as well. You do need to make a vision of not only vision, but actually to be safe and welcoming for people to come and try new things. Because sometimes people feels really intimidated coming up and learning something new, or even ask the questions. Because no one wants to look stupid, right? Everyone wants to be smart, and everyone else to think about them as they are smart. And event personality. We do different events with a personality as well. We do give them different topics. It is not a mandatory kind of thing, but it's always entertaining, because in the end, we are there just to have fun. And here you can see all of those amazing people across Australia who are helping me to organize those events. And right in the middle, you can see Rina, who was the second person who started helping me with events, because the first 3 or 4 months, the first few events, I've been organizing fully solo. And it is super important to be involved with your community, to still have it diverse, inclusive, and to keep growing your community as well. Different type of hands-on workshops and talks, to have a combination of different type of events. It is important to interact with your community, to talk to them. It was so many times when I was reaching to different organizations, writing them email and saying, hey, I want to help, do you need any help? And I never got any response. Then I'm saying, okay, great, then probably you don't really need one. Giving and asking for feedback, staying in touch after the events, and showing people that you do care. And feedback is super important. Why? Because we don't know what we don't know. And quite often we can get different type of feedback with the people with disabilities. Not all disabilities are visible, right? Not all kind of things are visible to us, and we do not think about it if we do not have a friends or co-workers or someone with this kind of disabilities. So we did have a feedback sometimes about the hearing loops, for example, or just accessible toilets and so on. So it is important to know the things and to show people that you do care about it. So to make it more inclusive and safe. And the last, but not least, is the food. Who likes a good food? Yeah, me too. So back in Australia, we have every single event that we hold, it's a standard food there. It's a beer and pizza. So I'm not joking, it's true. But being a junior developer, for example, and trying to go to as many events as possible, I could go to 4 events, 5 events per week after work, right? But I love pizza, I don't have anything against of it, but my trainer doesn't like it. So you do need to think about the food variety, and you do need to remember that people have a different food dietary requirements and also allergies. So do be inclusive with your food when you are planning for the event, especially if you hold a full day event or something like that. It is super important to keep people proper fed. They also will be more happy and your feedback will be better. So as you can see, we do have this crazy power of nowadays being in the tech space. It is a power to shape the future, and it is also a big responsibility in front of the next community, in front of the communities and the next generations of people who will be developers. We are shaping these communities and we are shaping the way how the technical world looks starting from now. It depends on us how inclusive, diverse, and safe it will be in the future. Thank you. And if you do have any questions, please, I will be all the day around, so come and talk to me. Thanks.
Thank you, Tanya Butenko, very much. And before inviting our next speaker, we would like to express our gratitude to the B&B Coffee House as well as Bahriddin Chusti for Chusti food. So now let's continue our event, and our next speaker is Ulugbek Kalanov from Integratia Company.
Здравствуйте. Я для начала хочу передать слово платиновому спонсору компании Bestcom Central Asia. Это Халил Аликперов. Он расскажет буквально 3 минуты о том, что делает Best Company в Узбекистане и чем это может быть вам интересно. Халил.
Благодарю, Улугбек. Ассаламу алейкум, ханымлар и джанаблар. Рад приветствовать вас. Как вы видите, очень много схожего в наших языках, обычаях, традициях и культуре. Это большая радость участвовать сегодня на данном мероприятии. Я очень рад, что в нашем регионе проходят такие мероприятия, которые, уверен, что вносят достаточно большой вклад в развитие информационных технологий, потому что все-таки, наверное, за ними будущее. Да? И учитывая недавний визит высокоуважаемого президента Шавката Мирамоновича, буду рад процитировать слова нашего глубоко уважаемого президента Ильхама Гейдаровича о том, что отношения между нашими странами и народами проверены историей. На протяжении многих веков азербайджанский и узбекский народ жили в согласии и мире, относились друг к другу как братья. Это прочный фундамент. Сегодня две наши независимые страны, Узбекистан и Азербайджан, строят свое будущее на очень прочном фундаменте многовековой истории. Я уверен, что поступательное развитие наших отношений будет дальнейшим залогом свершений. Мы будем укреплять как политическое взаимодействие, так и экономическое сотрудничество. На самом деле, я думаю, каждый из наших стран есть что предложить друг другу в области информационных технологий. И, учитывая ту долгую историю, очень важен обмен опытом, взаимная поддержка и так далее. Буду рад немножко рассказать о нашей компании, о наших целях на рынке Узбекистана. Наша компания была основана в 1995 году. На данный момент количество сотрудников составляет 330 плюс. У нас 10 докторов наук и мастеров. У нас высококвалифицированная команда, которая имеет в портфеле более 500 сертификатов от международных вендоров. Компания ISO-сертифицированная на рынке Центральной Азии. Мы работаем как региональный дистрибьютор. Мы надеемся, что сможем внести свой небольшой вклад в развитие данного направления информационных технологий. Компания работает в следующих странах, то есть это Азербайджан, штаб-квартира, это Грузия и весь регион Центральной Азии. В прошлом году мы открыли региональный офис по Центральной Азии в Ташкенте. Мы обладаем следующими региональными логистическими центрами. За 25 лет наша компания в регионе добилась следующих успехов, и мы занимаем следующие позиции по market share среди партнеров у данных известных мировых производителей. Это наш портфель авторизаций на территории Центральной Азии. Но так как сегодня ивент все-таки посвящен разработке, буду рад отметить, что В нашей компании также присутствует направление разработки программного обеспечения и достаточно много собственных программных продуктов, которые были успешно внедрены в Азербайджане. Это и электронное правительство, это и решения для частного сектора. Одно из них, наверное, одно из самых сложных, это автоматизация судебных процессов и трансформация Министерства юстиции в электронный суд, в e-justice, была удостоена в 2017 году премии «Хрустальные весы» в Эдинбурге. Соответственно, мы надеемся, что вы, молодые студенты, молодые кадры, это будущий потенциал всех наших стран. Я хочу пожелать вам больших успехов в развитии и очень надеюсь, что вы не будете покидать наши страны и уезжать, а будете оставаться в своих странах и приносить пользу, развивать технологии. Спасибо.
Спасибо за внимание. На самом деле у меня не будет слайдов презентации, я просто расскажу историю о том, как Google меняет мир. Лет 7 назад я работал в компании Polycom. У нас был проект, идея, как автоматизировать банковскую деятельность при помощи качественной видеоконференции для того, чтобы вместо живого человека был практически робот, был видеотеллер. Человек, который находится далеко от вас, обслуживает вас в том месте, где вы находитесь. Это был проект в Турции, в туристических городах вместе с Зираат-банком. После этого мы пытались этот опыт использовать на территории СНГ. Лет 6 назад мы начали переговоры с казахским банком и реализовали с ними достаточно интересный проект, но, честно говоря, проект реализовался не так, поскольку изменились обстоятельства, все стало намного дешевле. Вы это сейчас увидите в ролике, который я прошу запустить.
Представляет видеобанк. Еще недавно я работала в колл-центре Каскома и была одним из лучших сотрудников. А теперь я с удовольствием обслуживаю своих клиентов через видеобанк. Клиенты сначала удивляются и даже немного стесняются, но уже через пару минут полностью забывают о том, что перед ними нет привычного менеджера за столом. Мы регулярно проходим обучение и тренинги, и качество услуг растет с каждым днем. Обналичивание средств, переводы и конвертация, открытие депозитов и кредитов, справки и выписки. В общем, все услуги традиционных отделений. Многие клиенты становятся постоянными гостями, ведь видеобанк – это действительно удобно и быстро. Добро пожаловать в видеобанк. Меня зовут Динара. Чем я могу вам помочь?
Добрый день. Мне нужно открыть депозит и пополнить его с карты.
В отделениях видеобанка авторизация клиента проводится по платежной карте или отпечатку пальца, а печать и передача документов не требуют присутствия менеджера. Ваш депозит открыт. Благодарим за обращение в Казком Видеобанк. Видеобанк уже доступен в Алматы. А до конца года планируется покрыть все регионы.
Спасибо. 5 лет назад это был очень крутой проект, и он исходил из потребностей банка. Это был кризис в Казахстане, и банк был вынужден сокращать персонал, соответственно, освобождались большие территории, где нет персонала. Робот на этих территориях заменил людей в тот момент, и банк очень хорошо выиграл в этой ситуации. Я призываю вас, когда вы занимаетесь разработкой, прежде всего смотреть на потребности ваших заказчиков. На нас вышел банк и сказал, что вот такая история, что делать. Все это стало благодаря тому, что на тот момент был скачок, был прорыв технологий WebRTC, их рождает Google. Родился новый кодек преобразования видеосигнала, сжатие его, передача, комфортная для любой сети, это VP8, сегодня это уже VP9. Если бы не было на тот момент такого бурного развития WebRTC, так просто бы казахи это не сделали. Вы видели телевизор Samsung и камеру Logitech. Это все стоит совсем других денег, нежели чем стоило еще там лет 7-8 назад. Мы хотим повторить эту историю успеха здесь, в Узбекистане, но здесь ситуация немножко другая. Здесь не та кризисная ситуация у банков, нет увольнения людей, но есть банкоматы, которые ставятся в очень быстром порядке. Государство правильно придало этому драйв, и вы эти банкоматы можете видеть там рядом с базарами в стеклянных таких аквариумах. Вы их можете видеть, что они ставятся в больницах, что они ставятся в тех местах, где раньше их никто не думал ставить. Объем установки банкоматов, наверное, я не ошибусь, если скажу, что сотни в месяц по Узбекистану. За год это десятки тысяч. Соответственно, наша идея опять пошла от заказчика. Заказчик к нам обратился, позадавал вопросы, почему и как у казахов это получилось, нам бы эту историю использовать. И я сейчас попробую продемонстрировать, как это работает. Заранее прошу извинения, если будут технические накладки. Внизу мы можем повторить, как это выглядит. Можно поставить на видеомост с холлом? Человек подходит к киоску. В киоске удаленный банкир, видеотеллер. Человек сканирует свой паспорт.
Показывают. Пошли.
Человек сканирует свой паспорт.
Все, начинаем. Здравствуйте. Пожалуйста, предъявите ваш паспорт и вставьте его.
Он вставляет его в сканер.
Придержите, пожалуйста.
Видеобанкир, который сидит на удаленном конце, производит все операции сам за клиента. Это его идентификация по паспорту, его идентификация по лицу.
Сканирование вашего паспорта.
И?
Так,
это отсканированный паспорт, но это не того человека, я вижу.
как вы видите, это ваш паспорт.
Дальше эти данные идут в несколько баз данных.
Его, получается, надо будет проверить.
Проверка паспорта делается автоматически. Проверяется то, что человек живой, паспорт настоящий, человек и паспорт совпадают. Все это делается через камеру.
При наведении на совпадение.
Но сейчас он чужой паспорт ставит.
Лицо, и он выдает вам картинку, насколько это похоже. В принципе, это все.
Спасибо.
И получается, мы вам выдаем кредит именно таким образом. Сканируем вашу базу данных, и далее, если у нас все нормально по вашей базе данных, то мы вам выдаем кредит.
Ну, на самом деле скоринг происходит, такое понятие, как оценка клиента прямо на месте. Только по паспорту. Не нужно, чтобы у него была банковская карта и так далее. Я думаю, что за этим будущее у нас в стране – это микрокредиты. Тогда, когда кредит выдается, потому что ты гражданин этой страны. И ты честно себя ведешь с точки зрения налогов и оплаты этих налогов. Мы ищем таланты. Если кто-то желает присоединиться к этому проекту или присоединиться к команде Bestcomp как технический сотрудник, welcome, мы внизу. Спасибо.
Спасибо большое, скажем, Улугбек Калану. Друзья, мы ускоряемся, продолжаем. Следующий спикер Фарход Джон Чинбердиев, генеральный директор в компании Super Dispatch, Канзас, USA.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. How are you? So let's start, make it quick. It's about the power of documentation. It's about knowledge sharing and making things clear, adding clarity, and also just making everything and knowledge transparent to the team. I'm going to talk about our journey with the documentation at Super Dispatch. The first stage was no documentation, and CEO talks to the CTO via email, verbal communication, chat via Skype, and Basecamp. But these don't work just because I can forget things, CEO can forget things, and email messages are not shared with the team by default. And chats project management tools are not intended to be a hub for knowledge. Just you send a message, and after a week, you just forget about it. And most developers write code, not documentation. And but also we had a small team, and we were a small team, and there was no need for the full of documentation with documents, etc. Then, just there is an issue. For example, if you are not available for vacation, etc., and other team members can do nothing without your knowledge because it's all stored in your mind. Like, it's correct, you know nothing, Jon Snow. And the second stage was like using Google Docs, like everyone. And we started using Google Docs, it's okay. But there were problems, issues with Google Docs. Anyway, having Google Docs is better than having nothing. And usually you can just document your thoughts and share with the team, or other team members can join the collaboration to edit documentation, and you can have some kind of centralized knowledge, but anyway, it's intended to be an online version of Word. And there is no way to share code with the team. Usually in a document, we share code snippets, code samples, maybe some sample commands. And using Google Docs, you can only do that using a monospace font to share code. That's it. Or like this, you can use more modern version of font. And why it wasn't good for us? As I said, it's not a centralized knowledge. You can't just show everything to a new team member. They have to search, and you should create another document, just keep links to other documents, and it's not okay. And you have to share folders, and no code formatting, and also Google Docs is an online version of Word. You can do everything with it. So many formatting for text, and for example, one team member can use Times New Roman, another team member can use Arial, etc. And also you can use Word art. The third stage, we found Dropbox Paper. It's a good product, and it's more modern version of maybe Google Docs, and you can share code. You can use some kind of markdown formatting there, and it also has its own limitations. For example, our API documentation looked like this. It's better than Google Docs. With Dropbox Paper, because it was very, Dropbox Paper gives you a just good UX of writing a document, so all the developers started documenting things because it was nice. But there are other just issues with Dropbox Paper, like Google Docs, Dropbox Paper, and Dropbox folders are not synced. Just you can create some documents on Google Dropbox and folders, and they are not visible on Dropbox Paper. And also, you have to use Google Docs for spreadsheets. And it wasn't good. Just we started documenting, and we just came to conclusion that it's not okay. And prefer stage, like we tried Confluence, and we didn't like it because it's like old product. Maybe they are doing something with the product, but it's like wiki-like syntax and heavy interface, UX issues, etc. The documenting things should be easy. Then the first stage, we found Notion. It's a good product. You can see here how they show all the documents in the workspace. Anyone can find any document here without even searching. And you have like real rich formatting, modern interface, and you can do everything there, like creating to-do lists or images or embed things. And also, it has real code highlighting. It's not like marking a text as Courier New with font or just not just code. And why it's good? Documents are shared in one workspace by default. We have everything, like simple spreadsheets, to-do lists, boards, Trello-like boards, bookmarks, embeds, like designers can embed their Figma documents into Notion. And public pages, you can just create a document and share it to everyone. Comments, usually we do some kind of conversation inside the document. Slash comments, because usually when you document, you use just keyboard. And markdown like syntax, shortcuts. It's good because and all documents follow the same formatting because you can't use your own formatting there, like using Courier New font or Comic Sans. And okay, Notion is good for us. Maybe you know Darhambeck. Darhambeck uses it for his website. And what we document usually? Agreements, conventions, guidelines, instructions. For example, if we agree on something with the team, we do just document it. Meeting notes with action items, because meeting notes, we can just follow up it. Culture, company mission and goals, roadmaps, all shared with Notion. New feature requests. Document comes to the product team and they start working on that. Implementation details like code example, etc. And department-related specific knowledge, like finance has its own document, like folder, finance, sales, etc. And why we document usually? Like, why to document? We are a remote team. Our main office in Kansas City, and in Tashkent we have 30 plus engineers, and we need an asynchronous communication because when Kansas City works, usually we sleep or we are with family. This is the first reason. We remove bottlenecks. For example, someone has knowledge and that guy takes a vacation. What can we do? Just we can document that knowledge. We add clarity and transparency because when you share a document in Notion, anyone can find it, read it, and discuss it. And it's related to the second one. We can sleep or take a vacation without even worrying about the knowledge that we have. And the fifth reason is just some people can leave. It's okay. And their knowledge, if there is no documentation, the knowledge can live with these people. How to make it successful? Just start documenting. Our CEO has one principle for everyone. It doesn't, anything can just, it doesn't exist if it's not in Notion. We started asking for a document for, like, is it documented or not? If it's documented, we asked people to document it. And the process of documenting has to be very easy and productive because as engineers, we want to write documents as a code. And documents should be nice to read, not just document and share it with, and without worrying about typography, etc. How to start documenting? The first is just next time when your coworker asks a question, document it. And next time when this question is asked again, you should share the link to the document, not just answer. And also next time when you agree on something with someone, document it. For example, meeting notes, agreements. And you can use this as a follow-up. And if you agree with someone, just you can use in the future to what happened to those action items, for example, because people forget things. And next time when you start a new project, start from documenting it, how it works, how it can be helpful, and who you need, and goals, missions, etc. Because writing is thinking. And we are hiring at Super Dispatch. Thank you.
Thank you, Farhodjon Mamasaliyev. So now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome our next speaker, Iskandar Mamasaliyev from Han Academy, Uzbek.
So, hi everyone. I'm so happy to see you all here. And we are having very powerful and entertaining speech, right? So that's why it should be good. And I hope my presentation will be so. Before starting my presentation, I would like you all to know that, thank you. The presentation was made in a hurry. And I have recently found out that there was a mistake in one slide. So whoever finds first will be presented with this gift, okay? But what's inside is secret for now. So be active. Yeah, just accept it as a non-aggression pact for the mistake. So, but the rule is, you will have to wait till the end of the presentation, unless I ask, okay? So let the games begin. Oh, well. Sorry. So please let me begin my presentation as a friend, a trusted friend, as a son, as a brother, as a colleague, and as a handsome boy with white smile and merry cheeks. Thank you. So I'm Skandar. I am Han Academy Uzbek translation coordinator. I am 19, and I know I'm too young for this job, but I am doing my job. And I like it very much because I work with people. So here we go. This is my plan. Shortly, I will make it brief and simple. And I hope you will enjoy my speech. And if not, you will have a good chance to take a nap. But who sleeps won't get the prize, okay? So, Khan Academy. So what is Khan Academy? It's a non-governmental, non-profit organization founded in 2006 in the United States by a graduate of MIT and Harvard University's Salman Khan. Yeah, the postdoc. And the primary goal of this project is to provide free and high-quality education for everyone and everywhere. So moving on. So why we chose Han Academy? There are a few things that worth mentioning. First of all, Han Academy is not just learning, it's tracking. So it's also for parents and teachers who can control what their children or students are doing. So it's not only learning, it's just controlling. So you can just create an account as a parent or teacher and connect your account to your student. That's all. This is just a preview of our site. So it's in Uzbek, and everyone can just start learning. So high quality. The platform was created by many respected experts, and the localizing team, I mean us, are responsible for the quality of the content. So we should adhere the original text to Uzbek text. And Han Academy can be used not only in Uzbekistan, but also in other countries where Uzbek speaking families live. So that's why it's accessible everywhere and for everyone. While learning on Han Academy, you will just find out that the platform encourages you to study on your own. So there's no tutor, just you and your computer if you have internet connection. And another thing that there's no ads, there's no bills, no payments, no fees, just you should do is start learning, and that's all. So no one interrupts you. So why Han Academy? So why we choose Han Academy? First of all, there are about 10,000 videos on 25 subjects such as mathematics, biology, medicine, economics, and also IT, and so on. So, and 80,000 exercises correspond to the video lesson. So a learner watches a video and then he practices how well he learned it. And right now, there are 190 countries. The platform is used by 63 million people. It's a huge number, right? And the 29 languages that's available for learners. English, right now is Uzbek, Spanish, and etc. So before talking about what we have done so far, I would like you to know that first, we translate text, exercise, and correspond to video lessons. So translation and then editing, and then video lessons. As a translation coordinator, I can say that right now we have translated 70% of the content. So 4 million words out of 6 million words. So can you imagine how huge the number is? Just conceive of an essay, so 1,000 word essay. So it's really hard to write it down, right? And now we have 6 million words. Thank you. So in our first fundraising, we raised 200,000 US dollars. So thanks to our founder, Batar Janov, co-founder Umit Ish Mohammed, that without their help, we couldn't reach that goal. And official Han Academy announced that right now we are the fastest localizing team ever. So we are so fast, they said. Yes, and we keep that result. So invisible hand, it's an economic term, but when it comes to us, it conveys a different meaning. So your hand, and if you hold your fist, it becomes so tight, right? So this is called a team. First, initially, there were 2 people in operating team a year ago. Right now, we have 150 people. So feel the difference. And the content is so huge, it's like Everest that we're climbing every day. It's really hard with 150 people. And the success of us is that we put every person in the right place. So it is the success of every project, every startup that if you put the person in the right place, so they do their job and you will get the result. And we gathered in one mission, so to provide free education, online education. And the success of every startup is that you should gather people who are multifunctional. They should do everything. Yeah, we did everything. We are doing everything. Because there should be sometimes fuck-ups that you should manage. Sometimes I cleaned the toilet in our office because, yes, it can be sometimes. So be ready for everything. And yeah, there you can see that we built our office by ourselves. For the first time, and we learned something, just we tried to make it on our own. So use tools. We are living in 21st century. So a century of technologies that make it easier for you. So don't do it manually. So it's time to take actions. And for video recording, we use Camtasia and Sketchbook. And thanks to Google that without their help, we couldn't manage the translators because we work online with translators and editors. So, and next, this is our transplant that 6 million words are here. So we use Google spreadsheet that translator puts his name and then he puts the link that a new document opens. So he can start just translating. We work open, so here you can see the link and just you can enter the link and how we're working, just check it there. Yeah, this is a translation preview. So on this side, you can see original text, and from this side, it's translation in Uzbek. So we work like that online because as a translation coordinator, I have 80 translators. So we work them with online, not face-to-face. So they do their job. And recommendations. From our experience, it's really hard to work online with people if your team is so large, the community. And in a month, we hold a meeting with the community, editors, translators, and then we tell them the mistakes they are doing. And we heed advice and some compliments and things like that. It's really good to hold meetings for every project because conversation opens how you are and it makes intimate with people we are talking to. And we are asked, so what's Han Academy, what are you doing, and why we need it? And there's sometimes people write, if you do something wrong, they use words. And that's why every time be polite, because it's the future of your project. Every time, just you should be calm down. It's what I mean. So at a big rate of flow in our community, people leave and people join. That's why it's hard to control them. That's why we document guides for each section. We have about 10 guides, and the major ones are here. So for translators, we give, okay, just open the guide and read what's written. So if you have questions after that, then ask. And that makes things easier. So it's not smooth, because sometimes we face some words that have no meaning in our language. They convey meaning in the original text in English, and they have no alternatives. That's why we have some words that it's really hard to translate. And also, one of the things that it's hard to communicate with people online, because you should keep in touch with them. That's really hard. So, yeah, the same place, the same boy, the same hoodie. Before, if I'm not mistaken, there were 53 days ago, we hold our opening ceremony, official Khan Academy opening ceremony here. And this is the top translators and the main team, top editors, video teachers are here. So this is us. And in our next slide, I will show you, if it works, a video that how our teachers record videos. So yeah, here it is. So can you just turn up? It's not working. Yeah, this is our studio that teachers can record videos, and this is how Khan Academy works. So they record videos and they teach people, they work with people. Yes, this is all. And I think there's no need to watch because we don't have audio. So our mission is to provide everyone high quality and free education for everyone and everywhere and forever. So, and that's all. Thank you. But thank you. But who found the mistake? So you are the first. Yes, sir. Yeah, you are the first. No, it wasn't. Yes, this girl, there was a girl. Yes, no, if I'm not mistaken, there was a hand. So, you please. Yes. And no, it's not. Yes, you. Yeah, thank you. It's yes. Applause. So, thank you. So, it's yours. And what? Okay, I hear you. Organized trainings. Yeah. Really? Okay, come up to me and I will show you. Okay, thank you very much. But it was a mistake that. So thank you very much. And yes, just. Yeah, thank you.
Ну что ж, друзья, у нас последняя презентация. После презентации хотел бы вкратце рассказать, что вас ожидает. После последней презентации мы сделаем здесь групп-фото, совместное фото на память. После совместного фото всех приглашаем на праздничный обед. После обеда у нас начинаются параллельные сессии. Каждый участник имеет право по желанию выбирать сессию и принять участие в нем. В 17:00 у нас запланирована пицца-пари. После пицца-пати у нас здесь же в 18:00 вас ожидает музыкальная вечеринка, как мы называем after party. Ну а сейчас хотел бы пригласить нашего очередного спикера, представительница компании Samsung, Южная Корея. системный архитектор Шахноза Турсунова. Друзья, давайте поаплодируем, взбодримся и встретим ее.
Здравствуйте. Hi, guys. 안녕하세요. If there anybody who can speak in Korean. Hi, guys. I'm Shahnaza Tursunova from Samsung, Korea. Currently, I'm in Tashkent for a while, I guess. And today, I'm going to introduce you 5G. Well, let me speak first. I was working at Samsung for designing 5G, and we were, so if you know, the 5G first will be delivered as a specification, and then some other companies will catch up that spec and introduce their hardware, software, and etc. So we were involved to design those software and present it to the internet service provider companies. So today I'm going to introduce you how to use 5G, and do not expect from me as a maybe, oh, sorry? So, yeah, okay. This is outline, so we will cover some vision, and I will introduce some use case, scheduled timeline of 5G, and how to migrate from 4G to 5G, and some maybe will it be as a jumping or jump step by step, and include some comparison. And if we have some time, we can spend some question and answers, and do not expect some present for best question, just ask me anytime. So who am I? You can just use LinkedIn and know who am I. I was working in Samsung, and first I graduate my PhD from Yongnam University in South Korea, and then go to the E3 Research Institute, and then was hired by Samsung and was working there for LTE development group, and then selected as a 5G system architect, was involved on the control and user plane separations. I will explain in detail later. So we were designing the 5G in the core part, not the mobile attached base station part, but the core part. So I will give you some basics of 5G in the terms of core part. So 5G is just Samsung. Samsung phone, they are already using it. They are already enjoying their HD movies. But what is hidden behind the scene? How the 5G reached 20 megabyte or 20 gigabyte? How the power, how the throughput was improved, do you know? If you have any idea, just maybe it will be some additional presentation for you. So 5G vision. It enables new services. It enables some ultra high definition video while you are driving car. Also, it is not allowed in Uzbekistan anyway. So extended mobile broadband, which can reach peak 20 gigabyte. And on the edge part, 100 megabit per second. And ultra reliable and low latency, less than 1 millisecond latency, and massive machine type communication, like a vehicle to anything else. And then connection, that this density of the connection is increased rapidly. And so this is the vision of the 5G, which is introduced by IMT group, IMT 2020 group. And probably next year will be developed in other countries also. So use case, EMBB, enhanced mobile broadband. It gives us high capacity, enhanced connectivity, and high user mobility. While you were, let's imagine you were taking some Sorry, I got a cold. So you are on a high-speed train, maybe traveling to Samarkand, and on that time you want to watch some movie, some Turkish serial or anything else. So on that time you can get the best of the service. You can experience the best quality of the 5G. And another use case is the ultra-reliable, low-latency communication. You may not see such kind of crowded traffic jam here, but in Korea it is usual, especially just before some holidays. There will be so big traffic jam, and on that time, vehicle to everything is too important. And it's not only in Korea, even in US, in Europe, in other countries, it's very important or very extremely challenging thing. So 5G gives us some ultra-reliable and low-latency communication while traveling, while just going outside, and there is no failure support, and we can just control our robots or control our homes using this 5G. And massive machine type communication. It's give us, just while walking in the street, your handphone can give you some information about that store around, or the data will be collected around the city and will be just stored and later can be used. So there is a latency and throughput. It's not a big concern, but here there will be a lot of data and it will be saved maybe yearly. So it is also supported by 5G. And the main schedule of the 5G was this year. So we were involved on last year, from end of 2012 until 2019. We were involved designing on release 15 from 3GPP, and release 16 was already some of the points was being given, and from next year the 5G will be highly deployed and product will be available. But currently in Korea, LG, SKT, and KT already introducing such tariffs with a 5G, and we can use and we can enjoy that. So how to migrate from 4G to 5G? In the 4G, there is So in the 4G, there's your phone and some base station in Node B, and there's some core. We cannot just move, or we cannot just jump to the 5G one, because it's different technology, different hardware in mobile, in a core part. So there was some architecture called non-standalone. So 5G base stations or G-Node Bs will be deployed first, and then it can be served for 5G enabled phones, and then interact with the 4G Node B and on the 4G core. And later, standalone architecture will be deployed while removing the 4G Node Bs. If we go to the in detail, so assume that here's your phone and here's the Node B, and this is the core of 4G. Before, we were involved developing this serving gateway, PDN gateway, MME, PCRF. So all the core things was related to 4G. And when we moved to the 5G as a non-standalone, there will be some user and control plane separation, because in 5G, all the control part is just selected and separated from the user plane. So user data will not be interacted with a control plane. So it's called control and user plane separation, release 15, CUPS, and it's just called pre-5G, and then those technologies will be, can be used for 5G as a, so, this MME as some number of network elements, serving gateways as a user plane, serving UPFs, and control plane as a SMF. One of the main points in 5G is that in terms of architecture, service-based architecture was introduced. Oh, is it in? Okay. Service-based architecture. It is called a service-based interface, just one interface. It is not the any-based. So in 4G, there is each network element has its own interface to connect with other network elements. In the 5G, there will be only one interface, and everything can be connected using those interfaces. So differences. 3G, with introducing 2 megabit per second bandwidth, was deployed on 2004. Later, we moved to 4G, 2006, with a 200 megabit per second. But in 5G, next year, we can reach more than 1 GB. And latency will be less than 10 milliseconds. In some parts, it's just less than 1 millisecond. And average speed is 20, 40, 100 megabit per second. Just it's the main points, difference between 4G, 5G, and 3G. And I hope we can reach those parts also. We can enjoy those technologies here. So what was introduced? Main points of the 5G. First, 4G was stateful. So if one network element failed, the whole state will be failed. In 5G, it is a stateless. Network element is failed, but the state is remaining. Other network element can catch up, and there will not be latency. Virtualization, main part. In 4G, Samsung was providing some virtualization-based LTE technology. There will be just one hardware and different software for gateway, MME, PCRF, and so on. And this part will be moved to cloud native based on microservices, cloud containers, yes, DevOps, and continuous integration and continuous delivery. Sorry. Network slicing. Network slicing is really interesting thing. If you know QoS, there will be some gold service, bronze service, and silver services. Currently, in network, those services are delivered using only one, let's say, way. But in 5G, using network slicing, those services can be separated virtually. There can be some mobile broadband, massive IoT or critical IoT, and those information, those data will be delivered from different, virtually separated way to the network. So it's called network slicing, and very interesting technology also. And last thing is mobile edge computing. You know, if there's some match or some party where more than maybe 10,000 people are gathered, so there will be some delays, some failure in the communication. Not all of the users can communicate to the network. So mobile edge computing gives us some flexibility to support those connections. So if you if you imagine all of the signals go to the base station, to the gateway, and then come back to the person who are sitting next to you. But using mobile edge computing, we can just redirect those signals from the base station or from the near base station to the person who is sitting next to you. Especially it is critical in our country just before the new year. You cannot call to your relatives, even they are sitting just in the next door. Or so mobile edge computing gives us such a flexible way of the communication, and every time, every day, every second, you will be online. Okay, so if you have any interest, any details, there's this 3GPP. Select the technology as a 5G and release 16. They give us the very detailed specification, or you can ask me anytime. If you have a question, I think, yes. Thank you. Okay, if there is no question, then nobody is understand, right? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, dear participants and our guest speakers, now let me remind you that we are now having a group photo. So, after group photo, we are having lunch. So, I would like to ask our speakers just to stay here. And other participants, you can go to the A building and enjoy your meal. And after lunch, we are having several sessions. So now we are having group photo. Can you please, participants, fill the stairs here? And our guest speakers, can you please take seats on the white armchairs?
Ну что ж, уважаемые дамы и господа, дорогие участники, всех приглашаем поближе спуститься. Давайте заполним переднее пространство для общего фото. Всех приглашаем немножко спуститься. Друзья, не ленимся, спускаемся. Общее фото на память.
Sahnaga qarab turgan anu ledlar bor, o'shani o'chira olamizmi? Kameraga uradi hozir.
Anaqa o'tirish shart emasmi odamni?
Emas-ki, yig'ilsin. Bo'ladi Asqar aka? O'chirish kerak. O'chiring. Sahnaga berayotgan
Odamlar o'tirisha qolishsin, nimaga? O'tgan o'tirish. O'tirishmasmi odamlar?
Друзья, всех приглашаем плотнее. Давайте серединку заполним.
Can you, speakers, our dear speakers, can you please stand